Multifamily Mindset
podcast. Think bigger.
Hello, and welcome back, my friends, to another awesome episode of the Multifamily Mindset Podcast. I'm your hostess, Cyndi Maguire, better known as Cyndi. Show me the money, Maguire. I do wear a few hats around here. I'm a strategist at the Multifamily Mindset, seasoned real estate investor, co-founder of Gold Bar Partners, and mentor to many budding real estate enthusiasts. If you're new here, we're happy you found us and super stoked to have you join our ever-expanding network. So if you're looking for inspiration, practical advice, or just a good story, you've come to the right place. All right, my friends, let's dive right in. Today's guest is a leader, a mentor, and a game changer in multifamily investing. She raises capital, closes deals, and is making waves, and not only in the beaches of San Diego. Can you give me a warm welcome to Beth Bungay of Cash Cow Investments? Hi, Beth.
Hi, Cyndi. How are you?
Great. So happy to have you here. How are you doing?
I am good. I know we have crazy schedules, so I'm so excited to get to spend this time with you and your community today. We're making it happen, just like we always do.
Well, you know, Beth, you and I met a couple years ago at a mastermind event at the Harvard Club in Cambridge, Massachusetts. You were a new face to me, and I came to you and I said, "Hi, I'm Cyndi. We haven't met yet." And then you introduced yourself to me. And then since then, we've been like BFFs in the multifamily investing space. We were accountability partners meeting every week. And I will say, I am so proud to have watched you blossom in this space. But for our listeners out there, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey in multifamily?
I would love to. And you know what, Cyndi, I have to say, because I reflect back on that time, we were kindred spirits from the moment we met. And I'm going to tell you guys, for those of you who are listening in right now, and this seems so big and so overwhelming, I remember being in Cyndi's accountability group, and I was like, no way. She's so far ahead, and she's doing all these amazing things. And I'm going to tell you, you're in great hands. Love you, Cyndi. And you were part of that mentorship for me when I began in this space, and continue to be on. If I'm being honest, the people who are your peers will become your mentors, and sometimes you'll become mentors to them, and vice versa. It's like riding the waves, right? And I have a bracelet that she gave me when I began in the business, and it says she believed she could, so she did, or something to that effect. I'd have to get the magnifying glasses out to read it, but I wear it on my wrist, and it's a little bit of a symbolism, because this business requires you to pay attention, and you're going to bring all your beautiful skills into it. So for me, I started in a background, my 1996, bought my first house, and I was so good at remodeling that I decided I could do a fix and flip. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, I was good. I made a grand total of $50.
Wow.
So, now let's fast forward, right? Now I'm here doing syndications, large 233 unit ones in Las Vegas and San Angelo, Texas, across the Sun Belt, and basically anywhere the moolah makes sense. But how did I get here? A little bit about my background. I've been a licensed appraiser in the beautiful state of California, San Diego area specifically, for the last 25 years. So I definitely understand valuations of real estate. And coupled with that, I've owned my own real estate portfolio. I didn't quit when I only earned $50. And I'm going to tell you, I'm glad that I didn't, because that has changed my life. Real estate is this amazing asset. And it's kind of like Monopoly. If you do it and you buy and you hold and you build bigger and bigger, like, it's amazing, right? Those who do win the game. So we're all here.
Wait, it's together. Not kind of like Monopoly. It is Monopoly. When people ask me, what do you do for a living? I tell them I'm a professional Monopoly player.
I know. I'm afraid if you and I played, we'd probably still be playing this time next year.
Probably.
So, yeah, but some skill sets. I brought in the real estate professional. I've operated, managed my own assets. I also have opened and ran my own hedge fund. So before getting into the multifamily world, I had dealt with investors and really understanding what it means to be a fiduciary duty of their money and their moolah. So, very important to me that what we do in this industry is very good for the investor. Because at the end of the day, this business, if you're doing syndications, is not a business unless you're taking care of the investors. And fortunately, because of my portfolio, I can be a sponsor now with other people's projects and bring all these kind of skill sets all into one place and hone it in.
So is that what sparked your interest in becoming a sponsor?
So it's funny because sponsor, I think like a lot of you who are maybe new, you don't even really know what that word means. And I didn't know what that word meant.
So
But it
what
was
does
one
it
time,
mean?
excellent question. So a sponsor is the person who can sign on the loan or the key principal. So I'm going to throw out a couple different words here. Sponsor is a person who can sign on the loan, who is the key principal, who has the net worth and the liquidity and the experience to back the project. So that means, let's say we're dealing with a $30 million project. The sponsor's net worth has to be at least $30 million. They also have to have experience, 2 years or more in multifamily real estate. And they also have to have liquidity. So liquidity is, do you have 6 months of that mortgage in your bank account? Do you have 1% of the value of that asset in liquidity, liquid cash? Because the bankers, they want to protect their asset. And we, as syndicators, it's our job to protect our investors. So everybody, if they're doing the right thing, has processes to follow. So the bank wants a sponsor or a key principal. And because of my net worth, my experience, and my past background and my pro forma husband, we are actually able to sponsor in this industry up to a $40 million project. So I feel
Nice.
very blessed to be able to help out the community, because I do believe that I've come from kind of a space where it's all heart and doing the right thing. So I don't need an acquisition fee, but I know that I can change the lives of a lot of people by doing this.
Hey,
Investors and people who also want to syndicate.
but acquisition fees doesn't hurt.
Well, we all like a little spending money in our pocket.
Well, also, when I talk about sponsors, especially people that are new, because of all the TV we watch, they're thinking like AA meetings and having a sponsor. And I was like, no, 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 we weren't addicts. We're just addicted to our work, not into substances. But I mean, it's kind of like that, someone who is a mentor, who has experience, who's been through it. So that's awesome. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about sponsors and syndications?
So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that a sponsor's there to do it all for you. You guys, this is a partnership. I love Kim Lisa Taylor calls it a marriage. This is family. I'm going to say family because when Uncle Joe acts like an idiot and comes to Thanksgiving dinner and you have your friends there, you still have to smile and play pleasant, right? So this is like family because a syndication isn't, hey, I'm out, I'm done, I'm not showing up to dinner. It's all about everybody gathering around that table and all of us doing whatever we needed to do to put that beautiful meal on and create community and create connection and create a home for the people who are renting from us. So
Oh.
the sponsor, hopefully they're going to set the tempo for the projects you go in. But at the end of the day, it's your job to be a part of that family.
Oh, I feel so loved. That's so heartwarming. That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you if you had a superhero persona as a sponsor, what would your superpower be?
Oh, I'm like Wonder Woman because I have my gold lasso that can do almost anything if it has to.
Well, that's the
No, but
truth telling.
that's what you would tell me. No, but I do think as a sponsor, probably one of my superpowers is that even though, yes, obviously personable. I'm very good with the numbers, very good with the numbers. So rather it's being fiscally responsible with the numbers, looking at the numbers to make sure the deal works and putting together that business plan. I think it's really important to have both that being able to be personable, right? But you also have to dial in those numbers, because at the end of the day, you guys, if the moolah doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense to do the project. So I think kind of that's my hidden superpower is my capacity with the numbers.
Well, numbers is key for business, period. If the numbers don't work, your business isn't going to work. So I think that's another misconception people see in these multifamily investments is it's you're running a business. You're like, as a sponsor, you're the CEO or the
Absolutely.
president.
Absolutely. And as the sponsor, you have to realize that if it needs to be done and nobody's doing it, guess what? You need to do it, because your name's on the loan. You have a fiscal responsibility on both sides, right? The lender and the investors. So you got both, you're sandwiched in between. So you better know what you're doing. And again, that's why the bank wants people who have made money before, because we've figured out how to do it right, so we can help others do it. So that's why it's such a beautiful thing that our banks do allow us to do this. And we don't do this in the single family world, do we?
Mm-mm.
We
Nope.
don't. So I mean, what a blessing to have these experiences and these connections. I always say my goal when I started was to get 100 investors to millionaire status. And then once I realized I could be a sponsor, my goal is to get at least 10 people to also be at that general partnership level where they can be a sponsor. And when they're a sponsor and they no longer need me, that's when I know I've done my job well.
Oh, yes, yes. So what's your process in identifying a multifamily property worth sponsoring?
Okay, so usually it's going to start with the underwriting, right? For those of y'all trying to figure out how to get in the door, it's the underwriting. It's doing the hard work, doing the legwork, and I want to see the numbers that make sense for the investor based upon the project. And all projects are going to be different. You're like, what's the perfect equation? There isn't a perfect equation. It's keeping flexible to see what does work. I mean, I'm in an amazing project in Las Vegas that we're getting a lot of government funding, helping people when they come out of jail so that they have a place to live, helping foster kids when they age out of the system. And I'm not the one who came up with that project, but I got asked to be a part of that team, and it's really cool. So, don't keep a box, because the second you do, that box is going to change form and you will need to as well.
Yes, yes. So when you evaluate a property, how do you balance risk and reward for your investors and yourself?
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at risk. So, and anybody can find, there's a little ebook on my website, www.cashcowinv.com. And it does talk about that the higher the risk goes for the investor, then the higher the return needs to be. So if I'm dealing with a brand new asset that's 2 years old, investors are happy with a 12% return. There's very little risk. There's not age of building. Everybody wants to live in that pretty little place. So we don't have to have as high of a return. But now if we're talking about an older vintage in the 70s that needs to be remodeled, that needs a lot of hard work, that there's not going to be a payday probably in that first year, the investors just want some more money and they're okay with it as long as they're being properly reciprocated for either the wait time or the asset age. So you're it's this little bit of a scale, right? So we might need for our investors a total of a 17% return, and offering a preferred return at, let's say, 7% is a really nice kind of benchmark starting point.
Yes. Okay. Now, when we talk about when you find a great deal, because it hits all your points, and now you have to capital raise, because you're one of the few sponsors that actually capital raises also. So, what do you do to build trust with investors?
Well, I think, I always say you started building trust 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, right? We
Well,
build
what if
trust
you're
by who we are.
30?
Well, if you're 30, probably only for about 15, 20 years, because we all were pretty needy when we were little, right? But trust is built by consistency, right? It's showing up. It's by people recognizing that you're willing to do the hard work, that you have their best interest at heart, right? And it's built through repetition. How many times are you hopping on with your fellow people in community and saying, hey, let me help you look at this underwriting. Let me help you work with this. Hey, if you got a deal over here, I could be your boots on the ground for you. How are you showing up and giving back? Unfortunately, I think a lot of us grow up and we still are in that younger age of give me the pacifier. And it's not give me the pacifier, it's what can I give to others? So it's really giving back is how in community people are going to get to know you. And everybody knows my QR code, you can connect to me, I have a calendar link. Now, am I able to pick up every phone call? Probably a lot like yourself, Cyndi. I can't pick up every phone call, but if you have information and there's an opportunity, I want you to connect. I want you to hop on the calendar. Let's set an appointment.
I'm going
Let's
to
talk.
correct you on this because you are on every freaking phone call.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You're much better than I am, but
Oh,
I know you always make it a point to meet with everybody regardless of time zone. I know that you've always been there for everyone I know has reached out to you as well as myself, or you eventually get back to them. So I agree with you when you're more about not myself but others, because I've worked and dealt with a lot of potential partners where it's a lot about them, me, and I'm going to say it is such a turn off. Right.
it is.
And
It is.
I agree with you with the family setting, the tribe working together to make something great together. So, with capital raising, I'm going to ask you, what's the most creative pitch you've seen or made that really got investors excited?
Oh, so I actually had some business partners, some limited partners that were already in the Las Vegas project that were part of a community that we were part of a mastermind. And so I had mentioned it to the gentleman running it, and I said, hey, if you did the next one in Las Vegas, if you wanted, we could do a tour of the project because it'd be a great opportunity for people to see kind of some different ideas and see an asset. So I had the blessing of being able with one of my other fellow GPs to do a bus tour of the project in the Las Vegas basin because it was 233 units, scattered portfolio. It allowed us to kind of go around town, show our transitional living. So that was probably one of the coolest things. For that project, it was a very large raise, $17 million. That project, I had 550 people thankfully. And if you're out there, thank you for coming and supporting us in our presentation. It netted 97 investors. We had crowdfunding in it, so it gave everybody a chance, even on a small dollar amount, to get involved, which to me, that was like, this is cool because if you've never done it, you don't know what to expect. And some people, they don't have 50,000 to put in a project or 100,000. So for me, I was like, this is great because it gives everybody a chance to participate. I know you're thinking 97 investors. That's a lot of investors. I'm okay with that. I got some really great people out there. But what's funny is everybody who did invest, I required them to come to a presentation, except for one person. And that person said, I'm bringing in XYZ dollars. And I said, okay, if you don't want to come to a presentation, you don't have to. So that was my most interesting pitch. I'm like, okay, making me break my rules of the game. But him and I have continued and his family to become very good friends, and I very much appreciate them. And they will definitely be rockers and shakers in this industry.
Well, I love the fact that you allowed your investors and potential investors to like literally touch and feel.
Oh yeah, it was super fun. Uh,
Because mostly we see webinars and emails, but never actually seeing it, smelling it, feeling it, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
and we did. We also had the opportunity of doing an investor day, for that same for that same asset in Las Vegas. So that was beautiful to have about 80 investors there that we walked around and talked about it, you guys. And we're dealing with a C class asset, you guys, right? And I don't live in a C class house, and probably many of y'all don't live in a C class house, right? So for a lot of people that have never seen this stuff, they don't understand that that's actually Taj Mahal for some people. Somewhere that's safe, somewhere they can call a home. And so for us to really understand what we are bringing to the general public and how we are taking care of people was really neat to be able to share that with some of the investors on a more intimate level.
I really do like how your investments are purposeful, not only for you, your investors, your operations team, but also for the tenants. And not just any tenants, but those who are in need, who are transitioning in life and who need that hand. And so I
Yeah.
think that that makes that property special and of course you special too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to business. So once a deal is funded and closed, what's your day-to-day like as a sponsor?
So you're usually going to have asset meetings, usually once a week for that asset while you're getting it up stabilized until you've reached where you are, humming along 95%. And then you might back off some of those meetings a little bit, but you still need to always keep your hand on the pulse. Where they say a watch kettle never boils, I'd say you better watch the kettle, make sure. you know you don't want it boiling and you're not there. So yeah, it's staying present with the asset, doing whatever it takes. We had an asset that our occupancy wasn't where it was. We realized we needed to change property managers, but I also realized that we needed to not repeat the pattern where nobody was showing up. Now on that project, I was only on the capital raise side, you guys. But again, this is where I talk about everybody sitting at that table. You need to do whatever you need to do. So I hopped on a plane, I rented a car, and I drove down to that asset, not once, but twice, and we'll probably be going again until we're over that 85% mark. And the reason for this is because we got bad information. And as a team, you do need to question anything that has an impact on your occupancy or your income, and it was my first project. So I was like, okay, you're the pros. I'm watching you. Well, I realized I came with a lot of skills that maybe the people sitting at the head of the table, we could all throw in, right? And so by
Mhm.
going down there, I went down there once. I created camaraderie with the people on site, so that the second time I came, the property manager's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see you." Now, who gets that response from their property manager? So it was very exciting. Went down there. She's doing a beautiful job. And, I let her know she's doing a great job. I brought her some beautiful roses. The guys are working on units. I got them a giant watermelon. I brought it over to them. You would have thought I was handing out bars of gold, but let people know you appreciate them, you know? All of us like to be appreciated. I mean, women, how many times do we like when our honeys go, "Ooh, you look good"? They could have almost anything they want, right? All they have to do is say, "Ooh, you look good." Guys, I'm giving you like life lessons right now. Just tell your honey, "Ooh, you look good."
So
And
you could just say that to the property managers too.
yeah, "Ooh, you look good." No, you probably wouldn't do that, but
Maybe more
I
the property looks great. You're
the
doing a
property
great
looks
job.
great. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I did have to go like a little bit like this to them. I did go. First time there was a fence down. Okay. Second time there was a fence down. So what do you do when the fence is down and you're there the second time? Well, I don't know about you, but I asked the maintenance guy for his drill and a couple screws, and I go fix the freaking fence. Because guess what? By me doing that, the next time I ask for something, there is no way that man will not take care of it in between my first visit and my next visit.
I get, if you're not afraid to do it, he shouldn't either. So,
Exactly. And it was low hanging fruit. It wasn't a toilet that was clogged. It wasn't a unit that was being turned. It kind of, sometimes things get away. It's just like the trash. Somebody was dumping stuff at a trash can. Now, a lot of owners would just walk by because not my job. Yeah, my job. I went out there. I started putting stuff in there, and our the lady of our regional, she's like, "Oh, Beth, you don't need to do that." And I'm like, "I don't mind helping out. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. If you don't lean down and pick up the trash, your property managers will not lean down and pick up the trash.
Well,
So
honestly,
lead by example instead of expectation."
well, also in this business, whether they're your investor, your co-GPs, or your property managers, it's really about creating relationships and showing them what you're willing to do for each other. And that again, there goes your building trust. So nice.
Absolutely.
What's the best advice for someone who's starting in multifamily investing and is looking to get into a deal?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I gotta go cheesy because I literally saw
But
this
you
this
are
morning.
cheesy.
Dun, dun. No bullshit here. Dun, dun, because there's no bulls. Um, it's cash cow. Okay, sorry. I mom joking here, but I saw this sign this morning. It said, "Don't quit," and it had a red line. And you guys have to visualize this. So the word "don't." So cross out with a red line in your mind, the N and the T. So what do you have there? Do, and then quit. Cross out the Q and the U, leaves it. Do it.
Do it. Do
Do
it.
it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. And why did I love that so much, Cyndi? I loved it because the mind will do what it focuses on. So if your mind is focusing on don't quit, it maybe not doesn't hear the do not quit, it hears the quit. So I want you to focus in on do it. Do it. Again, gentlemen, compliment your ladies. Sorry, I couldn't pass that one up, Cyndi. You can
But
edit.
here, but you know what I've seen, Beth? I see a lot of people quit. So
It's
how do you
because
get them to not quit and to continue to do it?
so you weren't there the first day that we started that mastermind where we connected in Harvard and Boston. But I remember sitting up there and I thought, I'm just doing this for 5 years, no matter what. At the end of 5 years, if I can't make this work, then I'll reconsider. But I already set my mind for how long the race was. I'm now in a 10-year project. So, okay, clearly I've expanded that, right? But you have to set a commitment to yourself.
So you said 5 years. So those listeners out there who are starting, what should they choose for starters?
I would put that bandwidth at 5 years. And that doesn't mean at year 4 you start working it. That means you're working it now, you're working it consistently, you're showing up. Do you know one of the reasons I think I've had such great fast success in this business is because I just kept showing up? I just kept showing up.
That's usually
If
all
you're
it
watching
takes.
if you're watching this podcast, you're showing up.
Yes.
Now, yes, you're going to have to do some muscle. Yes, you're going to have to do some underwriting. Yes, you're going to have to get some basic Excel spreadsheet skills. Yes, you might have to set up a website. Yes, you might have to reach out to people to help you. And you guys, I had to do all that. I did not know Excel. I did not have a website ever before. I did not, what were some of the other funny things? I didn't use Zoom. So when all y'all were in COVID, I didn't even know what Zoom was until I got into this industry.
Did you use Skype?
No, I was an appraiser. I was out busy doing appraisals. I was like, thank gosh, everybody's off the road. This is fabulous. I can tell everybody to get out of their house. I don't even have to talk to anybody. This is boop, boop, boop. It was the weirdest time in industry and business. But I also, because I've seen the upturns and the crazy, I also knew like, ooh, now's the good time to get into multifamily and begin to understand it. And that's what I think it is right now for everybody out there watching. Like the deals are still a little tight right now. They're still a little difficult. But I'm going to tell you, you want to get good now. You don't want to get good when the wave comes. So right now you got to learn how to stand on that board, which is doing your underwriting, creating your relationships. So when those waves do come, you can paddle like heck and then you can pop up on that board. Okay. Now I just want to say this is coming from the auntie of the whitewash for all y'all surfers out there. And if you're a surfer, you got that. And only because I didn't start learning how to surf till probably, my in my 40s levels.
Oh,
So, but hey, I wanted to learn how to do it, so I did it.
it's never too late. I
Just do
was
it.
I was surfing in high school in Santa Cruz, so
I
cold
was
waters.
I was skiing in Colorado, so I guess it was inevitable to come play in the liquid water as well.
So, long story short, preparation is key.
Absolutely, preparation and mindset.
Yes. Okay, now those are for the newbies. For our seasoned investors, how can sponsorship accelerate their portfolio growth?
Ooh, I love that. So I guess when you're a seasoned investor, you do understand that you're bringing a toolbox that you're willing to share. And because you're willing to do that, you should be rewarded for, getting that water or that moolah running a little bit more efficiently, a little faster. And, the truth is, most of us who can sponsor, we tend to be a little bit more mature. So even though it looks like, oh, they're getting all this, you guys, we've already taken the hard knocks. And that's, we're the bumpers for you in bowling. And so we do get a little rewarded because we're willing to sign on the loans and take that level of risk. We do get rewarded because we maybe have the money to help put down for the ED money, the due diligence. The lender's going to want to see that the general partnership team has money in the project. So these are all really important things that as a sponsor, when we're doing those things, we're rewarded for.
Well, not only that, you're not only the ones rewarded, but the other newer investors that need sponsors get rewarded too. So it's a win-win for everyone.
And it doesn't work without everybody doing. I mean, somebody was that person for me, right? I wasn't my own sponsor, my first project, nor my second. I had to have other sponsors that were in that role. And yeah, are they benefiting from what I do? Yes. Am I benefiting from what they're doing? Yes.
Yes. So, talking about, yes, I'm going to wrap this up a little because it's been, I know I've asked a lot of questions. Now, this is the fun one. I got a fun one for
Okay.
you.
All right.
Let's share a fun fact about you.
Okay. Fun fact about me. So I have always believed in living outside of the box. And that stems back to even my childhood when everybody was doing lemonade stands. And, you had to be on a corner to have a lemonade stand. Well, I didn't live on a corner, nor did I live on a busy road. So, you know what I did? I put wheels on my lemonade stand and I wheeled my stand to my customer.
So, like the ice cream man, but you were the lemonade girl.
I was the lemonade girl, yes. And the best part about that was that my mom also never paid for my supplies. So I'd ride my little blue bike with the clouds on it. It actually sort of looked like my backdrop up here. I'd ride my little blue bike with the clouds on it, and I'd go pick strawberries so I could serve them lemonade. And I had a value add of strawberries that I threw in a little something extra, which was my mom's green sprinkles from the cookies for Christmas. So, I guess I never did think inside the box. I always believe that there's a way to get what you need or you want. And don't worry about doing it like everybody else. Your lemonade stand doesn't have to sit at the corner, but you do have to get customers.
Yes. Nice. Okay, Beth, how can our listeners get in touch with you and follow your journey?
Awesome. So if you're on your cell phone, like any of our, like my daughter, I watched her do a podcast. She was on her phone. I'm on my phone. I'm feeling really young today. And the other person was on their laptop. So if you're on your phone, I've now realized you can't scan my QR code if you're on it. So feel free to go to my website. There will be a area that you can then scan my QR code or connect with me. My calendar's all over, and it's www.cashcow, INV, remember icecreamnv.com. So that's for Cash Cow Investments. So I look forward to connecting with y'all. Please feel free to connect to my popple, send me a picture of you. Let me know how you heard about me, seen me. I always love to see where the reach goes. And I know Cyndi has a dynamic reach. So thank you, Cyndi, for having me here today. And I look forward to connecting with everybody.
Well, thank you, Beth. I mean, I absolutely appreciate you. We talked about having you on the podcast, so I'm so thrilled we finally made it happen. And thank you so much for dropping so much wisdom and sharing your inspiring story. And I think, you've really just been doing syndication for just a few years, and you've come so far. And I'm just so thrilled and so excited to see what the next few years are going to come and who are you going to sponsor next. And for you listeners out there, we hope you love this conversation with Beth as much as I did. So don't forget to join us next time for more powerful stories, game-changing insights, and a whole lot of inspiration. Until then, keep thinking bigger and get better every day.
Multifamily Mindset Podcast.